Okay, let's go first. So my name is Stéphane Bazan. I'm head of research and education at Keeward, a digital company in Beirut. But today, and this is not part of my talk, I'm also French, and I live in Beirut. So those 2 days have been quite a lot, and maybe a bit too much. And I just want to say two things about this. First thing is innocent people have been killed. Only innocent people. And the second thing I want to say is I'm going to talk today about science and education. And I think that science and education are the only weapons that we have against those madness people. That's what I wanted to say. So today I'm here to talk to you about this great invention that was given to us 25 years ago by Sir Tim Berners-Lee. And it's something that you all know about. It's called the web. And when I think about the web, when the first words that comes to my mind when I think about the web are atomic bombs and the Beatles. Because every time I read something about the web, it starts with this big explosion of the web and this worldwide success of the web. So it's two things that comes to my mind. But this is a lot for such a small application that actually transformed our lives and brought us so many cute kittens videos. Yeah, everyone uses the web, and this is not working. And we all know the web because we use it like 2 other billions of people on the planet. May you be a housewife, a web developer, a programmer, a digital marketer, or even my grandmother. No, not my grandmother. And we all use the web, but the big problem is we don't understand the web. In 25 years of history, the web has evolved a lot. It has evolved from a simple application, a web of documents linked by hyperlinks and websites, to what we call today the web of people. And this is very important to start. We are the web. The web, we the people, we are the web. The web is social. And a very important thing that you have to know about is the web impacts society. Our everyday life has changed with the web. But in return, the society impacts the web. It transforms the web, and it makes the web a different thing every day. Because we do that. We as people do that. And this phenomenon is called co-constitution. Okay? We impact each other in the same time. So I think if you think about the size of the web and the size of the usage of the web and the fact that it's social, we need to start to understand what the web is about. The web is actually millions of little applications, websites, informations that give access to data and information to billions of people on the planet. But we need to better understand the things we don't understand about the web. And those things we don't understand about the web, the guy who invented the web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, called those things the 2 magics of the web. There's magic in the web. The first magic, if you think about it, is how you go from small to big. You build a small application, a small website, and then suddenly millions of people start using it. You go from micro to the macro level. And this phenomenon is called adoption, and it's something that we need to understand how it works. How do you design something for the small and become something for the big? On the other way around, when you start to use things on a large scale on the web, then new issues appear. New problems, new dimensions are created. And most of them are social. You want to fix those social issues by going back to the micro level, going back to engineering and creating new applications. And this is how the web works and how it's been working since its first iteration. So new properties, new problems, new issues, new solutions. Let me give you an example about that. Have you ever heard about USAID? USAID is a little piece of software that was developed in 2007 during the elections in Kenya. And it was just an eyewitness report system to put on events on a map of Kenya. So when there was a problem during the elections, it would be indicated on a map by the users themselves. And this little application started to get some success and was used in different contexts. And now millions of people on the earth are using USAID. They're using it for, let's say, natural disasters, earthquakes, to identify where the problems are. reporting oil spills in Louisiana. I don't know if you remember that. And also to organize demonstrations and every kind of event on political uprising and these kind of things. So we can see in this example that UshID, a little piece of software, became a global social phenomenon on the large scale. And it has become a really big, hard social machine that transforms society and the way we use information. So powerful things emerge on a big scale. You have new opportunities, new innovations like social networks, like the blogosphere, like crowdfunding, open data, but also bad things that happen that we wouldn't like to see. And those things are cybercrime, cyberterrorism, dark web, the fact that we are under surveillance on the web, and the fact also that there are lots of violations of privacy by companies, private companies on the web. So how can we know what a little piece of software can become on the large scale? And how do we fix the unwanted effects of this from the micro to the macro? How do we do that? So the first idea that we have is we need innovation, we need engineering, so we bring data science to understand the mechanisms of the web and to understand what's going on behind what we see on just the websites or your small applications. So we bring science of big data, we bring a big processing power to understand the large scale, we measure, we try to find patterns, we try to use graph theory, so all this scientific stuff that we are using to try to understand the web. So we design patterns, we design models to understand what's going on the large scale. But the problem is, as I said from the start, the web is social. And if you want to really understand what the web is, you need to understand the why. You need to understand why things are happening like this. And other disciplines are needed to do that. We need to fix the web. To fix the web, we need to understand how it works. And we need also to understand why people are using it. Why you, the people, the web, how do you behave on the web and what you do, what you want. The macro level is nothing more than just little stories put all together. Okay, it's all your little stories that makes the web today, and this is what we need to understand. So we need to understand those two magics, and there's a science for that, and the science was called web science. And web science was created in 2006 by the guy who invented the web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, and some colleagues from Southampton University and MIT. And my first encounter with web science was in 2010. I went to a conference in North Carolina, and I had a chance to present a research that I was running at the time about information in the Middle East, information society in the Middle East. And there was this phenomenon that was getting bigger, especially after 2006, is information warfare on the web. I took the context of 2006, you know, the war between Hezbollah and Israel, to actually try to understand how this information warfare was developing on the web. How come the web has become a battlefield? How is it possible that people are using this wonderful application to wage war and to brainwash our brains and to propaganda our kids? Okay, so I started to look at the context of 2006. Then we moved with my research team to the context of 2010, the war between Israel and Gaza. And in 2011, we found out that the Syrian regime was using the web also to wage information warfare against the rebels, and that the web, and following Morozov's assessment, the web is much stronger at repressing people than at liberating people. And this is a very interesting point. And so we started to see state strategies developing on information warfare. Of course, it would be stupid not to look at the current situation when you're a researcher. And I don't want to talk about those people, but I think they're called Daesh or something like that. They're not people anyway. So this thing, Daesh, is producing a lot of information, and a lot of this information is produced to wage warfare on the web. So what we did, how did we do that with methodology or research? We go online, and we try to look for all these little pieces of information. So first, we build the big picture. How many, when, what, where, and everything. We get lots of data, lots of graphs. And then, okay, that's not what I do every evening, but we have to watch the videos. So yes, I do sit with my wife on the couch and say, okay, what do we do tonight? Let's watch Daesh videos or Game of Thrones? Anyway, it's the same thing. So So yeah, we have this discussion sometimes. But so we went into every little piece of content, and we tried to understand the stories, we tried to understand the why. And we found out, we're not the only researchers doing this, but we found out some very interesting facts about the way this thing communicates. First of all, they want to build some kind of audience and support, especially in the West. And also we found out that they are trying to frame their political and military actions from the inside. They want to know each other, what they are doing, and how they are succeeding at doing bad things. And a third aspect, which is very interesting, is that they want to market their notion of cyber caliphate. They want to be the only caliphate in the world, and this is turned against Al-Qaeda mostly. And this is very interesting because you can't find those things in data. You can't find those things on graphs. You need to go into every little piece of story. And that's what we brought people like from religious studies to tell us about those little stories. We could have stopped here, okay, but we needed to know the why of these actions. So here is the true value of web science. Web science is not about telling you what's going on, it's about telling you why it's going on. And the results we use can help, the results we have can help limit the impact of this propaganda and all this information warfare that is going on the web. And we need to protect people, not only on the ground, but we need to protect people online also. And this is why we need science and education. And we need to look also from different vantage points. So we bring other disciplines into understanding the web. We bring health, for instance. Medicine has a lot of transformation coming from the web. The way people use the web to get information on their sickness, on the cures, or everything like that. And we also created digital economy and web science program to know how the economy is transformed by the web. Even some of my colleagues are from archaeology, and they are using the web, and they are using web science to understand how they can do better research on archaeology. So web science is definitely an interdisciplinary science. But the main mission of web science is to understand this movement from small to big to small. But also, and I think that's my main important point, and this is what I want you to take home, understanding the web also can be helpful in education. Last year, I went through schools in Lebanon, and I asked the kids, what do you do with the web? 6 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old. I heard so many stories, but what I heard first is a call for help. They need help because they're alone on the web. There's nothing between them and the web, and they see everything, and they want to understand why. Why do we see these things? Why do I have to go through this when I'm looking for a video game and then I find like those disgusting pictures or aggressive language? How do we teach the kid the web? And this is one mission of web science. Web science should be included in curricula, in schools and in universities, so people can understand the web and to understand it scientifically. We need to give answers, and this is what web science might be about, give answers to the problem of web literacy in the world. Okay. We need to infuse web science into education because I don't know if you heard about Emma Goldman. Emma Goldman is an anarchist from the beginning of the 20th century, and she said something very important. The most violent thing in society is ignorance. And if you're ignorant, then you can be harmful. And if we don't know the web, then we can be harmful to our society because the web is the people, the web is the society. The web will change, the web will evolve, transform, and it will transform more over the time. So it's still time we understand this evolution and we find the tools to fix it or to accompany this evolution, because it's our responsibility to make the web and the planet a better place. Thank you very much.